When he finished his, I need to talk to this one too. Sorry, guys, and Bremen and Shipshawana and what's the other one? Elkhart. Oh yeah, Elkhart. How could I forget that? But in his last message, he reminded us about John's gospel, and he said that he offered us a plea that we wouldn't just be Jesus followers, but that we'd answer God's call to feed his sheep. Do you remember that for last week? It was a clear message to me. And I wrote down to myself, how did I respond? How did you all respond to his plea? Did we just go home and kind of just toss it aside? It was another one of those great challenges that came from Kirk. Did you pray for more opportunity to share God's word? Did you ask God to give you more understanding and perhaps just the guts to talk with that guy at the post office or at the gas station? Here's a question. What if someone asked you to step up front and give a talk on the message of John? Where would you start? What would be the big idea that you would share? What are the lessons that God would be revealing to you? How might others learn of God's application through you? Well, for the past 8 years, that has been pounding in Kirk's head. 8 years. That is 240 lectures that he shared with Steve and others. I do my own math. It takes about 20 hours a week to be a BSF teaching leaders. And that means it took him 4,800 hours of mission service to be your teaching leader for the past 8 years. I know David and I, we travel across a 5-state region, and we think about the sacrifice of the substitute teaching leaders and the teaching leaders, and I think, God, where do they come up with all that time and that effort and that commitment? And as I look at Kirk, he has another challenge. He's raising 3 boys. For goodness sakes, he's a physician. I don't know how you squeeze it in, and he's a wonderful husband, a committed follower of Christ, and he wants you to know that it was all worth it. The time that he put here was incredibly God-given to him. I called Jeff Parker this week to talk about him, and Jeff shared that when he first met with Kirk to talk to him, I guess you've probably been about 30 years old. I think you're 42 now, to come into leadership. He said, there's no way that this young man is going to accept this call. He's too busy. He started his first job here in South Bend, I think Memorial Hospital. Is that where you were? And he said, there's no chance he's going to do it. He's not even 30 minutes into talk with him. And he says, I'll do it. How often do we jump forward when God calls us? As I heard Simon today talk about this challenge of accepting God's call, I think of Kirk. I see it. Kirk joined BSF when he was 28 years old, when he was still going to medical school in Indianapolis, Indiana. Maybe you all knew that. He and Lisa moved here to finish their residency at Memorial Hospital. He joined BSF in Elkhart probably a year as a regular guy, joining the group like all of you, and then called to be a leader. First 3 years, he was a group leader, and the next year he served in the children's program alongside Steve and with this young man that was up here today, Wesley, in the group. And then 8 years ago, Jeff Parker was called out to be a member of the regional team for BSF, and he felt that God was calling Kirk to be the next church teaching leader. Jeff told me that Kirk had immediate impact on the group, and now he takes incredible pride in thinking about the man of God that Kirk has turned out to be. There's just something special about this guy. He has a gift for teaching God's word. Jeff Parker said that. Last week was Kirk's final lecture for Bible Study Fellowship. He has accepted a call to a role with his church that requires him to find more time in his calendar. So after 14 years of BSF participation, Kirk, we want you to know that we love you, and we all appreciate your sacrifice, incredible sacrifice. And I want you all to recognize that this is a gift you don't get everywhere in the United States. You don't get this kind of leadership. But I will tell you that having gone through these transitions a lot in my 25 years, God's not done here. God has already called the next teaching leader who will serve you for the next, 25 years. How long do you go at it, right? It's kind of how long does God do that? God is always calling men to feed his sheep. He's provided us Jordan Martinez as the next teaching leader for this Northern Indiana class, and Jordan will begin his training in the next 2 weeks and will then fully accept the call. David and I are convinced that Jordan, Steve Tedovich, Doug Haller, and Ryan I forget Ryan's name. Ryan Hartman, I can't believe I just talked to him 2 seconds ago, are the men that are going to lead us through the Revelation study, perhaps the most life-changing study you will ever have. And I want to finish this with you. Have you heard God's call to be a shepherd? And that means to gather the sheep here in Granger and Shipshewana and Bremen and Elkhart to come hear the essential message of who Jesus Christ is. The revelation of the return of Jesus Christ is coming to us next year. And I want to challenge you. Who do you know that needs to hear this message? Do you understand that you, not Kirk, not the guy sitting next to you, but that you are the messenger? Go and share the gospel with words and with a lifestyle that is as beautiful as the message that we heard this year. Thank you, Kirk, for a great, great service.
I just wanted to take a couple of seconds just to, on behalf of everybody, but me in particular, I've been partnering with you for 9 years now. I thought it was 10, but you said it was 9, so it's 9. But either which way, it's been a great privilege to teach alongside of you, to work with you, to be your teammate all of these years. You're my friend, and I'm going to miss you. Love you, man. See you next week.